a lot of speed.
He warming up
We're
now.
sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up. Warm up.
Some
I know
8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm going to beat your ass and I'm going to beat Jaden on Love. On my mama, I'm going to beat both of y'all ass. On my mama. And he laughing. He know. He laughing.
Our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
You know what I mean? I was misinformed. You know, you got to know what somebody's going through, man, or have gone through, and where they've ended up. Now, you have to understand that. You got to understand their DNA, you know. And we as fans, we fail to realize that. We as commentators and fanboys and all that, like, we all don't do that.
Gervonta Davis reacted angrily to Jake Paul sparring with Shakur Stevenson ahead of their fight. He said that Jake can do whatever he wants, but it won't make a difference. Tank insisted that he would show his true power on fight night and beat him up. According to him, any sparring or warm-up that Jake does won't matter when they face each other in the ring.
Now, don't worry about it. I don't got to set up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him back.
It begs the question, Tank.
Nothing.
Boxing analysts have noted the irony in the criticism surrounding the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis matchup. While fans and commentators argue that Tank's choice disappoints boxing purists, the situation simultaneously benefits others who see promotional or personal advantage. Shakur Stevenson himself highlighted this duality, claiming that although Tank's decision may frustrate traditional fans, he is still willing to spar with Jake Paul to support the sport and maintain his position in the conversation. This dynamic underscores the complex interplay between business, personal reputation, and fan expectations in modern boxing.
Criticism for fighting Jake Paul, but yet at the same time, he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul. Spar Jake Paul for the Tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap. Because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So, do I think that that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight, and then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million? And he said, I'd be fighting Jake Paul.
Analysts have pointed out that Gervonta Davis is primarily motivated by financial gain when it comes to his upcoming fights. The recent matchup with Jake Paul, in particular, has stirred conversations because many believe Tank's focus is on the monetary benefits rather than legacy or boxing prestige. Observers argue that if fans want to see him face top-level competitors like Shakur Stevenson or Lamont Roach, the promoter, in this case Turk, would need to offer him the kind of lucrative deal seen in fights like Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. At this stage in his career, money seems to be Tank's main driver, influencing his choices more than competitive glory.
Look at how Tank started acting after he made $40 million with Ryan. When he make another 40+ million with Jake,
he's gonna go make $40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Roach for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Cause that's the thing. You do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it. You want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that Canelo money, man.
Shakur Stevenson, a highly respected figure in boxing, expressed clear disappointment after Tank opted to fight Jake Paul instead of facing him in the ring. He conveyed that Tank avoiding a fight with him is seen as a ducking tactic, which many consider disrespectful to the sport. Shakur emphasized that true fighters face challenges head-on, and that choosing a crossover opponent over an elite professional like himself undermines the integrity of boxing. This public statement has added fuel to the ongoing debate about Tank's priorities and the influence of financial incentives over sporting honor.
What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. And he called cap on it. So if you gonna call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. So I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
Tank Davis responded angrily to fans' questions regarding accusations of him dodging top fighters like Shakur Stevenson. He made it clear that he does not care about public opinion, emphasizing that fans often shift their loyalties after a single disappointing performance. Tank stressed that his focus remains on his career and personal goals, rather than on satisfying every critic or fan. This reaction reflects his unapologetic approach to handling pressure and criticism while maintaining control over his own decisions and fight trajectory.
Gervonta, a lot of boxing fans aren't happy with the fact you've taken this fight rather than the road rematch, fights with the likes of Shakur, Devin Haney, Teofimo, etc. What do you make of that reaction? And can we still expect to see those fights?
Why should I care what they think? When y'all switch somebody can have a bad day and y'all switching on who y'all favorite fighter is or who this person is supposed to fight. Like y'all need to sit back and be fans and just enjoy the sport. Like y'all even talk about people's personal lives. Like why when it come to that?
Michael Jai White weighed in on the ongoing debate, stating that Jake Paul, regardless of his performance or hype, can never be considered a legitimate boxing champion. White emphasized the distinction between exhibition matches or crossover fights and official championship contests sanctioned by major boxing authorities. His commentary reflects a broader sentiment among professional fighters and enthusiasts who see Paul's ventures as entertainment rather than a demonstration of true championship caliber, reinforcing the skepticism around the legitimacy of the fight.
Do you think that Jake Paul could win a legitimate boxing title?
No, no, because he's so far behind someone of his equal age who's been doing it for a very long time. He started very late. That's why I applaud exactly what he's doing. I think he should be doing exactly what he's doing. If he fought a legitimate, top 10 cruiserweight, I will shut the if he's able to fight an actual contender of the top 10. That would be astonishing if he can get to that point. If he beat anybody in the top 10, that would be, to me, the greatest thing he's ever accomplished.
Yeah, because historically, he's fought old men.
I think he's done it the right way because there's a possibility where a 50-year-old Anderson Silva might be able to beat him. Who thought he was going to beat Tyson? I really thought, Tyson's just going to go to the body and just punish his body. Because I thought that's what would win him the thing, but he did not do that. I think it makes for a good matchup. He's made for great spectacle.
Daniel Cormier, former champion and respected analyst, criticized the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight, describing it as unexciting and lacking entertainment value. Cormier argued that Tank does not fight out of financial necessity and that the matchup does not align with the level of competition expected at his stage. By framing it as a boring contest, Cormier also questions the purpose and appeal of the fight, implying that it serves more to draw curiosity and social media attention than to advance boxing's competitive standards.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why
he's been a world
taking this
champion so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. he kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 136 pounds.
Commentator Showbiz, the adult, acknowledged that, despite the unconventional nature of the fight, public curiosity will likely ensure massive viewership. Tank's recent comments about potentially walking away from boxing have created doubt and speculation among fans about whether the fight will materialize. The tension between Tank and Shakur Stevenson on social media platforms like X has amplified these doubts, as both fighters exchange sharp words questioning each other's abilities. This drama adds an extra layer of unpredictability to the sport, blending entertainment and competitive anticipation.
Do we think the fight is ridiculous between you and Jake Paul? Yes. Are we going to watch it? Yeah. Do we like it? Maybe. Maybe. And let me tell you why it's maybe, why it's not no, why it's not yes. It's maybe because many of us, we just don't believe it. We just don't believe the fight is real. We know it's an exhibition, but we just don't believe that you two are going to try to take each other's heads off. Other than that, it's kind of interesting. You have a 5'5" lightweight versus a heavyweight Jake Paul, who's really not a boxer with an amateur background and all that shit, but he's been knocking people out. It's kind of interesting if we know y'all were trying to knock each other's head off. And we don't know that because Mike Tyson did knock out Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Rock Logan Paul, and then kept him standing. That shit, we getting tired of that shit, right? We need confidence. Are you guys going to try to knock each other's heads off? Jake Paul, when you swing at Tank, are you going to try to hit him and knock that little man over the top rope into the damn fifth aisle? Are you going to try to hit him and make his ass evaporate? Or Tank, are you going to show the world that Jake Paul should not be in the square circle with a real boy? Are you going to try to knock his ass out, sleep him, drop him like you did Ryan Garcia, stop him the way you did Mario Barrios, knock him out like you did Leo Santa Cruz? Are we going to get a viral knockout? Are y'all going to try to stop each other?
Teofimo Lopez, a top professional boxer, commented on the exhibition nature of the fight, suggesting that the matchup should primarily be viewed as entertainment rather than a serious sporting contest. Lopez's perspective emphasizes the distinction between traditional championship fights and crossover events, framing the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight as a spectacle meant to captivate audiences rather than determine boxing supremacy. This viewpoint aligns with growing sentiment that some modern fights prioritize showmanship and media attention over pure athletic competition.
Great fight, great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun. It makes it entertaining. That's what it is all about. You know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless. It doesn't count.
Doesn't count? Yeah. We need to see you and Tank, though. Has to happen.
What happened?
It has to happen, you and Tank.
We'll see, man. It's up to the champ. He's the champ, right? He's a celebrity champ. Ooh.
Tim Bradley, a former world champion, highlighted the personal and professional pressures that Tank Davis faces beyond the public eye. Bradley urged critics to consider the mental and physical toll on fighters before making harsh judgments. He emphasized that Tank has experienced significant challenges recently and that constant scrutiny from fans, media, and analysts exacerbates the situation. This perspective serves as a reminder that fighters operate under intense stress, and understanding their circumstances can foster a more balanced and respectful discussion about their career choices.
A Tank, you know what I mean? I was misinformed. You know, you got to know what somebody's going through, man, or have gone through, and where they've ended up. Now, you have to understand that. You got to understand their DNA, you know, and we as fans, we fail to realize that. We as commentators and fanboys and all that, like, we all don't do that. We don't do our research. You know, you got to know about somebody's history. So, like, if you understand where Tank came from, if you understand his background, then you understand how he thinks and why he feels the way he feels. You know, you do. So, I mean, for instance, like his parents, right? His parents were drug addicts, in and out of the system, in and out of jail. You know, he lived with his grandmother. You know, like, you got to understand when he started boxing, why he started boxing. Understand that, you know, that what the influence that Calvin has had on his life and how if their relationship isn't great, how that affects him. And this is not making any excuses, people. This isn't. I'm not making no excuses. I'm just giving you what I think, and I'm giving you the facts surrounding all of this. You know, I remember back in 2012, you know, I'm living right. I'm living civil. I'm taking care of my business. I feel like I'm doing everything right.
Analysts have debated the implications of the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight for the sport of boxing. They argue that the matchup, while lucrative and attention-grabbing, may not positively contribute to boxing's credibility. Paul's strategy of selecting high-profile opponents with notable size and skill disparities creates curiosity but also risks undermining traditional competitive standards. Observers suggest that while the fight draws viewers, it may detract from the legitimacy and professionalism that purists expect, sparking ongoing debate about its overall impact. Experts have noted that Jake Paul carefully selects opponents to maximize attention and intrigue, and his choice to face Tank Davis exemplifies this strategy. The significant weight difference between the fighters adds to the spectacle, prompting curiosity about how Tank will handle the matchup and whether Paul can surprise the audience. This calculated approach ensures high viewership, media coverage, and engagement, reflecting the business-savvy dimension of Paul's career and the entertainment-driven motivations that shape modern boxing promotions.
Why are you not fighting guys your own fucking size? Look at this, John. This is embarrassing. And not to mention, Georgia already said, no, you can't have this fight here. So they moved it somewhere else. Dave, do you know where they moved the fight? Can you look it up? This is embarrassing. Look, he actually put his hands on his knees and he was still the same height, maybe a little bit taller than Gervonta Davis. I mean, I'm all in on Gervonta. I want Gervonta to win this fight. I want him to hit. I mean, I'm not saying he can knock him out, but I think if he hits him to the body a couple times, John, he may be able to catch him. A lazy jab or something, you know, he might be able to pop him to the body and get him good. I'm hoping. Jake Paul down with a body shot.
Oh man.
Oh geez.
Could you imagine?
I would it'd be great.
It's a win right there.
It'd be great.
Commentators observed that during the face-off, Tank appeared notably smaller than Jake Paul, creating a surprising visual impression that some described as embarrassing. Despite this perception, analysts emphasize that Tank's skill, speed, and experience in the ring make it extremely difficult for Paul to match his level. Tank's agility, precision, and technical ability maintain him as the superior fighter, reinforcing that appearances can be deceptive and that his in-ring performance will ultimately dictate the outcome, not the brief visuals from promotional events.
And I think that the one thing that Jake Paul is really going to have to try to figure out in this fight is how do I catch this little son of a bitch? Because he's fast. And, you know, Gervonta, I would, you know, I'm not telling Gervonta Davis to, you know, cut down and weight like he normally does. Just get in shape. Whatever you weigh, you weigh. Don't try to add weight. There's not enough time for you to add good weight that's not going to make you tighter and anything like that. So just come in at your normal, walk around, good weight. You've been training hard. Whatever it is, because they've said 195 is the max that